Welcome to the Sonny Chung Podcast. Today is my pleasure to have Mr. Tim Mai on the show. I've been following on Facebook, social media, the man with the vision, and it's a great privilege to have Tim on the show. Tim, thank you very much to be on the show. If people don't know who you are, can you share a little about what you do and who you are to our Sonny Chung Podcast, please?
Yes, definitely. And Sunny, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm very honored and blessed to have the opportunity to be interviewed by you. So a little bit about me. I'm a Vietnamese-born U.S. immigrant. I came here to the U.S. when I was 12 years old. I'm one of those Vietnamese boat people, if you ever heard of that term. And I've been a real estate investor now for 22 years. 20 of those years has been in the single family home side. And then the last 2.5 years been on this multifamily commercial real estate side. And I do a lot of capital raising. I run a community of capital raisers, real estate syndicators. And I also do, I have my community. I do live events. I have a mastermind that I run. So yeah, I do a number of different things within the real estate space.
That's amazing for the time you've been here, and as a immigrant, a Vietnamese immigrant like myself, to accomplish what you have is a lot of dedication for you to get where you are. There's a few questions I would like you to share with the audience. What inspired you to start your real estate investing journey?
Yeah, well, I wish I had something to inspire me, but actually it was kind of forced upon me almost. So in after college, during college, I got recruited by an IT company, and this is during the dot-com days. And so I went to work for the IT company, and as many of you guys know, what happened to the dot-com, that bust happened. And so in 2002, the company went belly up, and they laid all of us off. And so I was forced to figure out, what am I going to do next? Back then, the IT industry was very hard to find a job. And I always wanted to start my own business. And so I started going to bookstores and read on, as many different books to get ideas. And one of the first books that I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. And he talks about entrepreneurship. He talks about real estate. And then I pick up another book by Robert Allen called Nothing Down, basically how to buy houses with no money down. And I didn't have much money, being freshly laid off. And so somewhere in those books, they talked about how 80+% of self-made millionaires in America invest in real estate. And so I thought to myself, it's like, well, I want to be a self-made millionaire. And if that's what other, self-made millionaires do, then I'll follow them. I'll follow their footsteps and get into real estate. And so, I started, there was another book, funny story. There was another book that I read, and this book, I didn't even buy it. I just read the first 3 chapters. And on the 3rd chapter, and this book is by, his name is Peter Conti. And I read the 3rd chapter. It says this. It says, if you want to do a house deal in the next 30 days, go put out 100 bandit signs. Those We Buy Houses signs, those Coroplast signs. And I was like, okay, that sounds simple enough. Let me, he says to put out 100 signs. I'll put out 200 signs. Right? I'll go the extra mile. So I closed the book, put it back, and went out and put out 200 signs. Long story short, I found a deal out of putting out those signs. My now wife then was just a girlfriend. And she would drive, I would put out the sign, and we remodeled that house together, made lots of mistakes, but all said and done, we ended up making over $50,000 on that deal. and that kind of set my my career off to a good start. And I met Peter Conti like years later. I think it was 7 years later that I met him, and I told him the story, and we laughed about it. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go and buy your book now. So I didn't buy the book until like 7 years later.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That story resonate a lot of new investors coming into real estate career, right? They don't know what to do. They listen to book, podcasts, and the thing is that nobody take action, right? But you did. So with action, there are always risk and reward, right? In real estate investing, not all deal is perfect, but you try to find a good deal to work to make money to support your family and your investor. I know in help if you could help explain or share a couple example the mistake that you made and the lesson you learned
Yeah,
from your real estate investing.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I've made so many mistakes in my career. You know, and when the 2008 market crashed, I lost around $3 million in that market because I was doing a lot of fix and flips. I had 30 something houses in different stages of constructions, and overnight the buyers were gone. So lots of mistakes there I can learn with, so one lesson just based on that, and it's showing up right now in this market too that we're in. But when the market is in an uptrend, everybody looks like they're a genius. Everybody looks like they're doing really well. But it's in a downturn like this that we can really see who's a real player, like who's a real operator that can execute business plan versus who just got lucky because of the markets, the up market that wrote them up, right? So that's one. But the I would say the biggest lessons that I learned, and I didn't learn this lesson until I got here to this commercial real estate side, is that I spent 20 years in a single family home side. I did really well with that. And I have had many friends that have left the single family, went to multifamily, went to other type of commercial real estate. And the whole time I kept thinking to myself, it's like, oh, the single family homes are comfortable for me. I know what to do. I can do it with my eyes closed. The commercial real estate, those deals are more complicated. They, yeah, you need to have a bigger team. You need to have more money. Blah blah blah. Like all these limiting beliefs that I had
Mhm.
about the multifamily commercial real estate space. And 2.5 years ago, I met, I met a guy who's now a friend, and he shared with me how he had left the fix and flip world, got into commercial real estate, and that each deal that he does adds at least $1 million to his net worth. And so that was the huge light bulb moment that came on for me. So after that, I said, you know what? If this guy can do it, he doesn't seem much smarter than me. He doesn't, look any better than I do. If he can do it, I can do it. And so I went all in on commercial real estate. And I realized, holy cow, it's so much easier than all the things I imagined it would to be. And what I realized, while yes, it's true, multifamily and commercial real estate is a lot more complicated than single family home. That part is true. Yes, it does take more work. Yes, it does take more money. But what makes it easier is because it's all about teamwork. See, in a single family home, the deal is small. You don't need a lot of money. So it's easy for you to be the guy that does everything in that deal, right?
Right.
You can find it, you can fund it, you can borrow enough money to be able to take the deal down because it's only a few $100,000. But when you're dealing with millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions, you are forced to play with a team and so it becomes a team sport versus then a solo sport, right? Like in single family home is, and because it is a team sport, I get to play just one part, just one part of the business. I decided to get good with capital raising, and so that's the part I play within the team, within the partnership. And so, 2.5 years later, I still don't know how to underwrite. Right. I still don't really know how to source deals or asset management these deals, because that's not my area of expertise. But I have partners that will do all of that, so I can focus on just the part that I'm good at, which is the capital raising part. And that's what makes the business so much easier and so much more scalable. I have now been a partner on like over 4,600 units in multifamily. If you add up the value of those, is well over $100 million. Of value. Now, I don't own all of that. I wish I do, but I own a small percentage of it.
Right.
The point being is that like my ability to grow and scale is unlimited with this sort of teamwork partnership structure.
You say something that resonated with me about limit belief and your comfort zone. When you step out of your comfort zone, you can see something that beyond your can imagination.
Yep.
Right? Not everybody can do that. Tim, can you maybe can give advice for someone that feel like commercial real estate too big for them, feel like they want to give up, but they don't know how to do it? And from your experience, how did you
Yeah.
overcome that adversity and have that willpower and destroy that limited belief that you have?
Right. So first of all, that limiting beliefs is never going to go away. Like
Mm,
at every level, you have a new limiting beliefs. Every level. So that will never go away. You just have to know that's part of business. That's part of life, really, right? Like
yeah.
we all want to stay in our comfort in all aspects of life. It could be in your fitness, it could be in your relationships, it could be in your parenting, it could be anywhere. Like we all have that comfort zone. Um, what what you just have to realize is that just know it is a limiting belief, and and that's the way out of a limiting belief is just take an action forward that, right? The more actions that you take to forward whatever you want to do, the limiting belief sort of while it's there and it nags you, and sometimes the nagging is louder than others, but by you taking one step forward, one step at a time forward to achieving your goals, uh, you basically make that noise, that nagging, like less significant, right? It doesn't have as much of a strong emotional hold on you because you're in action, right? And so surrounding yourself with people who have done it, been there. And so like one of the things that I do, and which is what you're doing right now, I love this interview method. When I got into this industry, I started my capital raising party where I interview someone on my show. And so like every single week, I'm reinforced with, if this person can do it, I can do it. It's like, and yeah, like, a lot of people that I've interviewed, they're not much smarter than me. At least I don't think so, right? But they took action. They surround themselves with the people who have been there, who have done it. And so I, by doing the interview, I get to rub off of like, I get inspired by what they do. I get to learn from them, but more importantly is I get to like borrow their confidence, right?
Mm,
You know,
beautiful.
yeah. And yeah, so that, just one step at a time.
I You do have a podcast. You do so much on social media. I see you have a Hero Wealth Fund and you have Capital Raising Nation Party as well. You are in this, and I think that's amazing for especially Vietnamese American like you immigrate from here and actually break all the barrier and then to push you and put yourself to another higher level. So let I want the audience to understand and where they can find you as well. What drive you to create the Hero Wealth Fund and the Capital Raising Nation, and how that different from other platform? I'm sorry, there's too many questions on it. I'm just getting excited because want people to know about your journey, and hopefully they can borrow your confidence and create a better version of themselves as well. Can
Yeah.
you share a little bit background?
Yeah.
What are to create those platform?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I would definitely share it, and I do want to share also too, like the Hero brand. I want to make sure that people don't think like I'm, beating my chest, calling me a hero. But the actual it's an acronym that stands for Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs Enriching Others. The enriching part is a little bit stretched there, but we made it work. I created this brand because I wanted I guess the first part of my career, business was all about making money for me.
Mhm.
And when I sold my last company, I guess now, 7 years ago now, um, I wanted to make, the second part of my business career to be about making a difference for other people. So that's how the Hero brand comes about. And so everything I do, if you think of the Hero brand, it's like the parent brand, very similar to Virgin, right? Richard Branson with the Virgin brand. You have Virgin Music, Virgin Galactic, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile, right? So the Hero brand is similar to that Virgin brand. So within that, we have our Hero Wealth Fund, which is a fund that allows passive investors to invest alongside with us into real estate syndication deals, and then the Hero capital raising side of the business is where everything that I've been learning from in this industry about capital raising, I share it with that community, so that way they too can go um, uh, empower their passive investors. And yeah, so within the Hero Capital side, Hero Capital Raising side, we have Hero Capital Raising Nation, which is a Facebook group, Hero Capital Raising Party, which is our weekly virtual meetup, Hero Capital Raising Show, which is our podcast, Hero Capital Raising Summit, which is our in-person live events. So we do a lot of education, to for other syndicators around capital raising, and support them to be better capital raisers, better fund managers, better syndicators. In addition to us also raising money for the deals that we're partners in.
I just based on what you share on this thing is by education thing, right? You the way I look what you try to accomplish is try to produce good fund manager, a good capital raiser, right? That protect the investor. The
Mhm.
dedication for you is not about show, it's about educating the consumer just what you're looking for and how to protect your investor. I think you're in the right track of trying to help people along the way. Of course, you have to be able to help yourself as well, right? So you cannot pull from an empty cup. You cannot able to perform. And I think your reputation, right, that helped you carry to a way that attract more fundraiser, capital partner, and you do have a summit coming up in Dallas. Um, Coming up, can you share a little bit about that event, please?
Yeah, so that event is called Fun of Funds Mastermind. It's the main educator that's leading that event is Mr. Paul Hutchison. Paul and his partner John Pennington, they started Bridge Investment Group from zero and it is now almost a $50 billion fund. And yeah, so Paul is our main educator at the Fund of Funds Mastermind. And the goal of that event is to bring all of us real estate syndicators and fund managers into a room to share ideas, to share best practices, to share what's working right now in today's market, what's not working, all different aspects of the business to help the community like learn how to navigate this market. 2024 was a tough market in our industry, and 2025 here we're expecting a lot of opportunities, and so the event is to bring everyone together to collaborate. So it's on April 11 and 12, and my birthday is actually on April 11th. So at the on the night of the 11th, we're doing a charity social. So it's both a birthday celebration and also a charity events that we are raising money for Child Liberation Foundation, which is the foundation that Paul Hutchinson runs, and it helps rescue kids from sex trafficking and providing education and shelter for them post-rescue. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a lot of stuff from helping people, making money, also giving back to the community. I love it. I just want to see, if possible, can you give some type of a code for people who listen to this show to come to your event with a little bit 10 or 15% discount? Just people want to check who you are and then try to find you.
Yeah, definitely. So you can go to fundoffundslive.com. So FUNDOFFUNDSLIVE.com, fundoffundslive.com, and you can use the code HERO. We do have an early bird special right now that will give you 40% off. So yeah, just use the code HERO, HERO.
Okay, it's ERO. So folks, you hear this on Sonny Chung Podcast. You put in the code HERO, you get 40% off on Tim next event in Dallas, Texas. Okay, on April 11 and April 12. There's one last question. I appreciate you share about your background and what you try to do and how you want to be impact on your show and what you try to accomplish. This one question is my closing question that I ask all the guests on the show, and hopefully you can share a little bit insight what you try to accomplish, right? If today were your last day and everything you built in your lifetime is well disappear with you. So everything you have, your hero, wealth fund, your capital raising nation, everything that you built is no longer exists in this world. However, you can leave behind the three truths for the next generation, for the people who actually in real estate business, your family and your close friend. What would those truths would be?
Wow, what a question. So, one would be that you are, yeah, and I'm talking this from a perspective of like I'm telling my kids, right?
Love it.
What would I tell my kids if I pass away and they, and yeah, I have nothing to pass down to them other than these three truths. Number one, you are a lot more powerful than you realize. All of us are born with unlimited potential, unlimited love, unlimited happiness. What happens along the way is, from life and from experiences, we hold on to especially the negative experience. We hold on to them, and that's really the things that holds us back from realizing our full potential. So it's not like like you hear people talk about the pursuit of happiness. You hear people about you know um, uh, you know like overcoming their mistakes and things like that. The you know we are born with all of this potential already, but then we through our life experiences, we take on these baggage, and it becomes the thing that's in our way of realizing our full potential. And so if you want to have all the happiness you could possibly experience, if you want to have all the growth that you can possibly experience, it's not something for you to pursue, but it's all of that baggage, all of that limiting beliefs that you have to let go of, so that way your true self, your natural, powerful self can show through. So that's the core thing that I would say I want my kids to realize, that yeah, there's nothing's wrong with with them, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that we hold on to these limiting beliefs, and we hold on to these baggage that becomes a roadblock for us. So if we just remove that roadblock, wow, like anything you want to accomplish, any amount of love you want, any amount of happiness that you want, bliss that you want, it's there already inside of you. And we just have to get, kind of like Michelangelo and David, right? They ask him, it's like, how did you sculpture David? And he said that, oh, I just chip away whatever that's not David. And so that David is all inside of us. We just need to chip away all of that limiting beliefs, all of that baggage that we have, so that way our true self, right, can come through.
So that's one. You have a few more.
That's a big one. I mean, I
Like
would,
destroy your limited belief to let go
yeah.
what's holding you back. So that's great lesson for the next generation. What another two Tim advised?
Well, and I mean, that one is a really big one because it applies to so many areas.
Mhm,
So living in beliefs, a lot of time we're thinking about like our career, right?
mhm,
But that also applies to your love of happiness. Like we think that, oh, I need to have a phone to be happy. Oh, I need to go on a vacation to be happy. Oh, I need to own a fancy house or a fancy car to be happy. No, like who you are is already happy inside. Like you don't need any of those stuff. Like the core of who you are is already happiness. And so really learn to let go of all the things that you think that's going to make you happy, and tap into the inner you, your inner happiness. You can generate that happiness anytime that you want. And so like I do a gratitude practice whenever I'm down,
mhm.
whenever I'm stuck. Gratitude is like just being grateful for everything. I'm grateful for this chair that I'm sitting on. I'm grateful for all of the human that it took to come up with the idea for the chair, to come up with the materials, to create this chair. I'm grateful for this computer that I'm on. I'm grateful for the internet. So like I'm grateful for every little things. So gratitude is a really big one. I would say. For that second truth, if you want to put it that way. And and the I so those are the two things I can think of. And I guess, I mean, the third truth is this. The third truth is that if we look on the grand things of, like grand things in life, we're a tiny little piece of the universe, right? I mean, the universe is huge. I don't know, like there are, trillions of planets. I don't know how many billions of planets, and Earth is just one of them. So if you look at that big grand scheme of life, we're here for a very short moment, right? The universe has been around for billions of years. So our lifetime, even if we live to 100 years old, it's a very short time within that billions of years.
Mm.
And just know that we're blessed to have the opportunity to experience life for that short amount of time, and just do the best that we can with the life that we do have. Yes, we're going to have challenges. Yes, we're going to be confronted with many things, but as long as we continue to put one step forward each day and do the best that we can, that's really all that we need to do in life. Yeah.
I think those are beautiful to pass on to the next generation, for us to have a peace of mind, to understand our limited belief and practice gratitude and try to be a good human beings, right? There's a phrase that the journey you walk on is who's going to walk with you that will define who you are, right? And I'm glad that we crossed paths, Tim, and I appreciate you being on the show. And thank you so much for your sharing your knowledge. And I wish you best what you moving forward and what you represent. And hopefully what you're doing, then people can see you can do it and they can do it for themselves.
Yep. Thank you so much, Sonny. Really appreciate you. Appreciate your friendship. To have me on your show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.